Good afternoon, everyone. Very good afternoon to all of you. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, so let us have more number of people with us before we gauge on the topic for today. And we have a very interesting topic for us today, and that is, I think, that is quite a bit of concern as well. Reason being that generally we, get concerned that where to publish, how to publish, what will happen, how we can access to that place. So this is all about, that worry only. That is your actual place to get it start. And that is, we'll be talking about the conferences today. I'm sure that this is a point of concern that majority of us are been going through, and we do not find right kind of conferences. We do not find right kind of way to approach these conferences. So today here we are, and here we'll be discussing about the conferences, how to present there, how to have a paper publication there, and all that we'll be talking about today. So as you all know that myself, Dr. Renu Mishra, and I'm joining you from Melbourne, Australia, and I'm there in with research graduate as a research expert, and I myself as a management educationist from past 14 years. I take care of bachelor's, master's, and PhD courses. And talking about research graduate, as all of you know that that this is a one stop solution where you get all your research queries got sorted in just whiff of email, and that's all you have to do. So be it your topic selection, be it your thesis writing, anything, you can rely back on research graduate. And in order to contact them, these are the details which are there in right in front of you, and you can browse them on researchgraduate.com, and you can also WhatsApp. All right. So, talking about this webinar, this will be around 90 minutes or so. And during that, I'll be talking about the topic itself. That will be followed by the series of question and answers. And all your question and answers will be answered. So, don't worry about it. Talking about question and answers, I would say that kindly make a note of your questions to be asked by the end of webinar, because taking care of questions within the webinar, we just deviate from the flow of discussion sometimes, and other people or all the audiences may not find it useful enough at that point in time as well. So I would request that if all of you can join you, note down your questions to be asked by the end of it. Also, please make sure that you have registered with the email ID that you used quite often, because you'll be getting the PPTs, you'll be getting the recordings and certificates on your registered email ID. Plus, lastly, but not the least, that is, increase your YouTube quality to 720p so that you can have a better experience of this webinar. On all those who have joined us from the phone, they might can have a glitch because phone screen does not always support good connectivity, even if that's the case. So if not, then well and good enough. All right, so now it's time for us to start. Today, we'll be talking about conferences, academic conferences. Now, that's actually a point of concern for all the research scholars here, all the academicians here, and also not only for you, people like me who have like 10, 12, 15 years of experience, or even more than that. We also look for a place where you can talk about your research findings, where you can connect with people. So it's not only about, you know, publishing your paper. It's also about, connecting with right kind of people, finding a right place for your submissions, for your paper presentations. So it's very important that we connect, or we get through the right kind of conferences. Okay, now we need to be sure about that, we find the right kind of relevant themes in the conferences. That is, there are multiple conferences been happening around the world, I'm saying, not only in your country, wherever you are coming from. Throughout the world, there are multiple conferences. Many conferences are happening throughout the days. Some conferences, they have the routine, they have the historical development that, they take care every year. So it's like every year they schedule. Some conferences are two times in a year. And some conferences are, they release their themes a year before, or probably a couple of months before. So it's just about, finding the right fine-tuned conference for you to have a close call for your paper publication. Okay, then it is follow. So once that is identified, then you are at right page. Okay, now I'll tell you that couple of ways that how you can actually identify the right kind of conference. See, firstly, stay well connected in the industry you come from, like academics, education. Stay well connected. That connection which you have with your supervisor, academician, fellows, peers, colleagues, that actually keeps you come across with what all is happening with the, across the world in terms of conferences, when I say. Now, because you might not know that what is happening in that field related to conferences, but your colleagues must be aware about it. Okay, that's a very first thing I would like to tell you. Second is that you need to register to get the conferences which are happening around the world. Like, for example, conference alerts. You may get yourself subscribed to that or register to this conference alert. So what happens is this, that they send you a lot of conferences uh, options. Okay, and also, mm, if you talk about in India, particularly, if I give you an example, very recently I have got an invitation for the conference that from one of the management school based in India. So what happened is these reputed business schools also, they come across with various conferences. They call for the people from the industry, from the academia. So you may get yourself registered, and you may get yourself presented at such places. So what you have to do is, sometimes you have to make an effort that you have to find out that, okay, fine, I'm talking about a management business schools. Okay, so I may find that what are the top business schools, any conferences organized by them. So you can keep an eye that what are they looking for, what are the themes for their publication, and if it aligns with you, you may go ahead with it. Okay, now that comes when you are looking for a conference. Okay, then proceed with what we say, that how we go ahead with the submissions, how we make sure that the deadlines are being met, and that is what we'll be looking ahead in our slides. Okay, now first, let's, like I discussed, identifying relevant conferences. So now all of us are talking about that I need to attend a conference, I need to attend a conference. Okay, what after it? Okay, now I know that I need to attend a conference. What after that? Okay, after that is, you have to find out the conference on the basis of the relevance, that is it relevant for me or not, and what are the factors to be considered. Now firstly, let's look at the relevance. Now you will find a relevant conference from your university resources, as in your university also get an invite, or probably the department from where you are associated, you get an invite for various conferences. Various conferences, you get the notification, or probably information which is there in your university, so you need not to go anywhere actually. Then I told you about that, yes, you can talk about the your supervisors, lecturers, peers. Then comes your academic journal. See, majority times what happen is the good journals, the reputed journals, which we talk discussed about in the last webinar, they also organize various conferences. Okay, now these academic journals, so you may find the reputed one in your respective domain, and then what are the conferences they are organizing. Okay, then there are online conferences databases also, like the link I have given you, that conferencealerts.org. You may register, you may subscribe to them also, or probably registered, probably email them, or probably find out on the online. Okay, then there are some professional associations like IMA. For the management, I'm telling you, there are various societies like SHRM societies. There are various specialty groups also are there, so you look for those specialty group within your domain. They also organize frequent online conferences, okay, plus in-person conferences as well. Then comes, what are the factors you should consider when you talk about the good and the relevant conference. You need to see that, uh, is this conference is just happening first time, or probably if it's a repeated one, then definitely this has a very good history, or probably prolonged history you may go for. What is the kind of reach there? Now when I say reach there, it is an international conference or is it a national conference? So even if it's an international conference, what kind of speakers they are coming with? Okay, look for the associations of those speakers. Then you look for the proceedings, like once the conference is done, then where the conference proceedings will be published, what is the impact factor of those proceedings. Okay, so you once you are done with all that, right, and what all are the institutions they are endorsed with. If it's a good institution, I mean, a lot of institutions have been associated with, and a good one, you can definitely rely that yes, it is a good conference. Okay, and I may consider for myself as well. Then comes, okay, fine, first is your conference is final, there I'm going. Now time is to talk about our abstract. Okay, let me tell you, only 70% of the abstract submitted, sorry, only 30% of the abstract submitted get their way through the conference. 70% are outragely rejected. Reason being, many times you must have seen that conferences generally ask for you to submit the abstract first, and they categorically defines their guidelines. Okay, following which you have to submit the abstract. Now, authors primarily do the first step mistake there only, that they do not look at the guidelines, or probably they overlook the guidelines. They do not follow it at all, right? So just have a very very careful eye on your guidelines. Okay, then you need to see that what all requirements are there. For example, if you talk about the abstract, a strong one, this is how we need to talk about. Okay, now when you talk about guidelines, I told you follow the guidelines. Okay, if there is no specific directions regarding the title here I'm talking about, if there are no specific directions regarding the title, make it around 12 words. Take it as a standard. If the word limit of the title is not given, make it as a standard 12 words, or you should be able to read it in a one go of your breath. Okay, like one breath, are you able to read the title? It's a good one to go for. Then talking about background and the objectives. So that is about why of your research, followed by gap or questions of your research. I'm just giving an idea, how your abstract should look like. Why of your research, then either the gap or the questions, then sometimes if the goal and a hypothesis if you have, right? Then comes your methodology, your main results, conclusion, and keywords. Minded keywords are important. So this is what your abstract should look like. um, a generic one, I'm not being specific because I'm not following any guidelines as of now. So, however, just follow the guidelines firstly. However, a generic one looks like this. So, here you have crafted a strong abstract also. Now comes, I will go to these slides details. First, let me discuss. What happened is that generally, I have seen this happening also. We overlook the guidelines. That is one blunder. Another one we do is that we somehow either don't pay attention to the deadlines, or even if we pay attention to the deadlines, we make sure that we are so close to it when we submit it. That is what I would like you to avoid. Don't wait, till the last day of submission that I have to probably, I have to kind of delete it, or probably, I have to probably, kind of change it. I'll do it later on, I'll do it. Don't do that. Just make sure that you have the time in your hand. Plus, what all are the requirements? It's just not that you're just sending the mere CV of the author. You forgot to attach the abstract, or you send the abstract, you forgot to attach the bio of the, because generally conferences they ask the brief bio of the authors also, and you forgot to send it. Make sure, in order to in order to avoid that last minute hassle, all these things should be with you. All these as abstract, if bio is required, if your CV is required, everything is there in your hand. Okay. So when you're talking about managing deadlines and requirements, please make sure that what are the dates, submission and start date, like from here to here you can submit the abstract. Then if there is any payment, what is the last line of the payment, registration payment, and then what are the dates which are there for the results. I mean, when they will tell you that within 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks that your abstract is accepted. All these you need to pay attention to, right? Why acceptance or the result evaluation date also needs to be known. Reason being, you need time to prepare for your paper also, or probably you have already worked on, or if they say that you need to change something or something like that, you should be having a date with you. Okay. Okay, so make sure that all documents you have, like I said, your brief bio or your CV, plus that's very important, this is what I'm talking about, money. If there is any cost associated with it, or you want that to be funded, like for example, I tell you that for this GRF scholars, they get the funding at times while they're PhD. So if there is any funding associated for your or travel accommodation from any accredited body or from any sponsor, please make sure that you have that also been planned in advance. Okay. Now comes the presentation times. Here we are talking about presentation. You've identified a good this one. You have identified the good conference. Now you have prepared a good conference abstract also. You have submitted also. Now it's time for you to prepare its presentation. Now, why it is important to focus on presentation? Because conference is one aspect, conference is one place where you get a chance to interact with people. Now, understand this thing. See, when we submit our paper into journal, it gives a definitely it gives us you the visibility, right? But that's not an in-person visibility. Conferences are the platform where you get a chance to meet, interact with your faculties of different institutions, probably your colleagues. You are into the same industry, but still you don't know them. It's a way you network. Let me tell you very frankly, along with It's a great platform for you to present your work. It's an amazing platform to connect with people. And do not take me lightly. Whenever you go for you go for a conference and you're presenting there, make sure you carry your cards with you. Okay. Now that impression is way beyond exceptional when you create this impression by delivering your presentations. Believe me, once you deliver your presentations with an vibe, that aura comes while you talk, that amazing. Now, how you can actually deliver an effective presentations? You need to make sure that your presentation is effective in terms of how it looks, the structuring. It should have amazing visuals, because now you're talking in terms of technology. You can't just afford to not to have any visual aids. Then how you deliver? Okay, because you are there to create an impression, because they are yet to read your paper, but you are there to advocate your paper before. Okay, now, so let's talk about reality check related to presentation. I talked about it has to be very good, right? Now let's do a reality check. How you planned that I'll introduce myself, I'll just talk the outline of the talk, and I'm fully motivated, and I'll talk about my methodology, what did I do, designs, experiments, results, conclusion, everything I'll do. Everything is planned. I'll deliver it in within 15 minutes. Everybody will be so happy, and there'll be engaging question and answers, and it'll go amazing. This is what here. You've not delivered it yet. This is what you're planning. Now let's see how it goes. You start. Before you start, at your starting point, you're supposed to start at 11, but the previous speaker is still going on. Okay. Sometimes a technical glitch. And I'm telling you, this is something which happens. And this is something which has happened with most of us, including me as well. Either the previous speaker takes time, or technical glitch. Now this is something which we really can't avoid now. Okay, now what happened is, during that gif, that I have sort of time, the laptop is not running, projector is not working, I get nervous. Now when I get nervous, I just randomly start my presentation. I do not talk about myself. I forgot to introduce about myself, and that is how I lost my first impression. Now, this is something which is not in my hand. This is, I mean, way beyond. And I am not at fault also for this, right? But here my faults start, because I have that clock ticking in my mind: 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. From here, I start doing blunders. Lack of motivation. When I say that, I see that people are talking about, because I am not able to engage them. That's why my audience is also getting boring, frustrated. They are asking random questions. And then I'm seeing the clock. Okay, clock is ticking, 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 ticking. I'm just rushing through the PowerPoint and hardly answering any questions. Second is the scenario which actually happens in many cases. No matter what, how much time your previous speakers have taken, whatever technical glitches there, this is something which is not at your fault. This is something which cannot ruin your presentation. Let me tell you, just be at ease all the time. Because, see, when we go to chair the session, okay, now we also we do not expect anything which is out of this world. Okay, we also know that there are certain things which a presenter cannot control. Okay, so make sure that you start off very well. Probably there are times when you require, when the session chair say that, kindly rush through the slides. So kindly start off very well. Okay. All right. Now, this blunder is done. Let's move ahead. How we can create an effective presentation. Firstly, always have this in your mind that my audience is great audience. My amazing audience. So just my suggestion is that always start with appreciating the audience. It's wonderful to have interactive people, like what I always do is, that's my personal suggestion, which I have put it in the slide, that hi everybody, or good evening, it's wonderful to have so interactive people like you, or probably it's wonderful to deliver with like-minded people amongst so intellectual people, something like that. So start with appreciating the people who are there to listen you, then start talking about you. Okay, this is something which I always suggest, or which I always practice also, that I always, because they're, to be very honest, they're on the that side of table. They're not nervous, they're not anxious, they're not yet there to deliver, they're just there to listen you. So they cannot sometimes understand your um worry or tension to deliver. So it's always to pacify yourself by appreciating them. Then you can introduce yourself, outline your talk, move to the main body, summarizing main talk, conclude your talk, and then questions. What point, what agenda I wanted to show is that keep this part practiced beforehand, so that you do not take immense time for that. Just keep yourself within the time boundaries. Okay. Then make sure that your presentation talks about the main important part of your research, not the absurd things. Okay. Like, do not include too much of literature, do not include too much of theory in research methodology. Don't do that. And practice your delivery before your presentation, so that you know that this much time I'm taking to deliver. So even if any blunders is going to happen, like technology glitch, or probably extra time taken by previous author, you know that your presentation is in your hand, and it is in command also. Okay. All right. Further is, now let's talk about how you can actually improve your delivery, how you can actually focus on your presentation skills. So this is something, do not go without doing your homework. Let me tell you this thing very clearly. When I say homework, you should know what kind of audience will be there. Okay. There has to be one point to be discussed on one slide. Don't just talk, show them. Okay. When you're saying that, okay, my correlation of the study show that, okay, you're talking about correlation, right? Show them on the slide. So what happens is their engagement enhances. They are with you on each of the slides. What if you will talk everything on the slides, and you are not showing them, just telling them, they'll lose their connect with you. Okay. Then images, lot of images, simple presentation with lot of images. Be consistent, don't abruptly end anything. Okay. And always look for the latest conference templates, and they are widely available online, free one also. Okay. So let's say you are delivering on pharmacology, theme is pharmacology, so you'll get the background like that. One thing, always make sure that you do not choose a clumsy template which does not have much space to, which has a lot of extra things, drawings or within the template, which gives you less space to showcase your content. Don't do that. Okay. So choose dynamic and vibrant design. If your presentation, if your conference is on, let's say for example, fashion or social media, like, topics are like that, so go for a very dynamic and vibrant design. Okay. Now if it's more of professional, like management, or probably that kind of presentation is there, go for a professional presentation. Like professional presentation, when we say that, generally a light background, or always a light background. So because light background reflects more when you are delivering, and Whenever we are delivering a professional presentation, we always go for a light background. Okay, we always make sure that to have a light background. Then big concept means you should focus on your main concepts, which is to be reflected on your slides and make it visible. Okay, then definitely striking visuals, pictorial diagrams, graph, pie charts, or discussion between dialogue box, all these things. There are a lot many these days within the Microsoft. Also, you'll get a lot of it while preparing the presentation. Your text should stand out against the background. Like I said, if the background is light, your text should be dark, that it will be getting a catchy attention. Lastly but not the least, images fill it out. Yeah, I mean, the images talk more than the words. They catches your audience's attention. Okay, so rely on the images a lot. Then comes, so now what we have done is we have identified the conferences. We got to know that how we can do that. We submitted the abstract also. We did that. Abstract got submitted, accepted. We presented how we can do that also. Now it's time to talk about your audience. Okay. See, people will like your presentation when they can connect with you and your work. People will find your presentation meaningful when they are giving you their attention. When you know that your content is simple yet interesting. Now, what I mean to by say that, do not choose very complicated Oxford dictionary oriented language, because we are there to connect with people through our work. We are there to make people understand what you want to say. So, if we are going for fancy languages, difficult words, difficult idioms, doesn't make sense. People will not understand. So, make your content accessible, easy to understand, and more interactive. Now, imagine what I also do is imagine how you would like your people, or how would you like your presenter to deliver the presentation if you would have been an audience and somebody else is presenting. Something like that. Okay. So then you'll get an answer that, yes, this is something which I can do. So for the same, just follow these skills. You know, your message should be very clear. Let me tell you, right? You should be very clearly able to communicate what you say. Before that, if many people need it, so if you need a script before your presentation, please do that. I also need it on many presenter. I have seen that we need a script. Now that we need not to read that script, right? But we have some catchy lines, we have some fine vocabulary to be delivered at the time of presentation, which we think that we might even forget. You can prepare a script before that, practice that, and tell your presentation like a story. Like a story, because story which we all, even if it's an if it's child or an old person, we all love to get engaged in stories, right? So tell them through the way of storytelling. Use your technical skills. Your stage presence should be there. Just do not go and read the presentation, read the slide, and come back. I have seen many presenters like that also. If you know, these have to be delivered, or these conferences has to be delivered, make sure that you make use of all the stage given to you. Now, Disha is saying these are very basic point presentation skill. Absolutely right, Disha. But you won't be believing that these basic points of the presentation are also not being taken care of. I told you that what you should put in your presentation as the presentation slides. But when it comes to delivery, right? We hardly make use of any stage space given to you because you're so nervous before it. You go, I mean, as in you, as in the general, people go, read the slides, come back. That's it. And that's what happened. So make use of technical schools. Make use, if you need, you can take your, laser remote for presenting. I forgot the name particularly to what to call that, with yourself. That gives you something is in your hand, and it gives you to connect with your presentation more. You can control your presentation more. Please always make sure that you have a person who can control your presentation slides. You want it to be changed, when it to be changed, all these things. Please make sure. Okay. I know these are basics, but yet they are ignored a lot. Okay. Now, a very important thing, presentation is also done. Now, what after that? After that is comes this very important thing, is that is networking. If I may ask you all, if you can give me a reward in the chat box, that how many of you actually carry, or how many of you should I say that actually have your visiting cards? My question to all of you is, how many of you carry your visiting cards? I'm yet to get the answers. Even if you are a scholar, academician, then very good. Even if you're a scholar, how many of us has our visit? I do have. Okay, let me start by myself. How many of us actually have a visiting card? Let me type this question as well. Exactly, very good, very good. Now I'll tell you the purpose of visiting card. I may not have added in my slide, but I'll tell you. See, when we meet somebody, right? Okay, you like somebody's presentation, somebody liked your presentation. They'll come, they'll talk to you, and you'll say that, ma'am, now we can exchange numbers, right? We can have each other's numbers. But what happened is, in that professional setup, sometimes it becomes very awkward sometimes, that you're meeting somebody and, can I share your number, can I, obviously, honestly speaking, it sometimes get awkward to ask for the number at the very first go, right? Carrying your visiting cards actually is letting you, or it is giving you an opportunity to be in that person's inbox or in phone cards, or probably you have the opportunity, because if you will give the card, you can ask the same in return. No, I'm not saying that that person will have the visiting card or not. Even if the person does not have the visiting card, then you can ask for the number. It looks more professional. Okay. Now, many of you would be saying that, carrying a visiting card is old fashioned. Probably we share straight away, we straight away ask the numbers. But when a platform like conferences are there, how many numbers you'll keep on asking, give me your number, give me your number? You carry your cards. That look very professional. And trust me, along with presenting your paper, you go, and you should go, to build up your network. This networking can for for a very basic thing, very for a very basic requirement, your jobs. Trust me, you get seriously, good connections, which can actually land up you in good jobs in these conferences. Really, you don't know where the openings are. You don't know where the vacancies are. You get to know through this kind of networking which you establish in these conferences, not only for the job, to collaborate for future publications, to get visible in the eyes of the professional of your industry. Okay. And if in future Your institution is planning a conference, you need speakers, you need people. Here, this kind of networking help you to establish that kind of, calling that speakers. So, for instance, if I am going, or the conferences which I have attended, let's say, one of the conferences that I attended 10 years back when I just started my career, it was just 3 4 years I started my career. I used to go to conference, a lot of conferences I used to go in India, here also, in Dubai also. So I keep getting the conference invite from the 10 years back one which I'm talking about till now. So you get to establish, you get to establish the connect with the people, okay, which is very, very effective. Trust me, it is very effective. Okay. So this is very important. Please do not take it lightly. Coming on to the next one. Now comes your paper presentation, paper publication primarily. Abstract is done, presentation is done. Now they want your paper. Now here comes your slight more attention. Now abstract is 1/4. Remaining you have to work it now. You need to understand that what is the peer review process of the conference, because they detail it everything. How you can track your submission, what are the submission guidelines, till what date you need to submit it, what is the format, what is the font size, what is the referencing, is it a Harvard or is it APA 7th edition, what is the structure of the paper they are looking for. Everything comes under submission guidelines which you need to take care of. Okay, so when you talk about the process, it somehow looks like this. Now generally you might find it similar to the journal publication also. So you start with submission, then it comes to initial evaluation. Paper can be rejected at this time also, because your abstract got accepted, not the full paper. If it requires any revision, it's sent back to the author, your paper, because now you're talking about publication process. Okay, then if it is passed, then it is peer review. This is what you have to know about. If there is any comment given by reviewers, it come back to you. If not, it follows. Here also your paper can get rejected. If accepted, publication. Okay, so this is something which you should know, it is given in the guidelines. Now another very important thing, that is feedback. I very clearly remember when I got my first rejection for the paper submission. Absolutely, I'm telling you. In my opinion, back in my head, I was thinking that, oh my God, my paper is fantabulous. Yeah, I can't write better than this. I did it so much and blah, 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 what not. And when I got the feedback, the entire paper was filled up. This is not there, 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 this is not there. And you won't believe, rather than working on that feedback, because they give you the if they are asking for the paper again, they give you the certain deadline also. But my paper was any which ways rejected, so I was mourning for it. I was mourning for a week. How can my paper get rejected? How can my paper? I did not even read the feedback completely. Trust me, guys, that not to be done. Okay, whenever you're getting a feedback, so it is basically asking you to improve your quality, and that's your goal only. So you need to understand that whatever feedback is have been given you, you need to take it as a constructive criticism. How you can make it better. Do not mourn for it. And plus, if your paper gets rejected at one place, does not means that your paper is bad. Does not mean that. It means that may not be suited here. That's why I started saying that you need to identify the relevant theme for the conferences, understand their guidelines, read them through and all, so as to avoid this step. Okay, so as to avoid this point. All right. So when you receive constructive criticism, you need to, you know, ask from your peers and the mentors where I can improve. You need to focus on the highlights, or you can say you need to focus on the highlights given in the feedback. What is missing? What is to be added? How you can refine your research? You need to do it because feedback given to you on your work is basically doing nothing but improving your own work. So you should be always welcome for that, right? Then how to incorporate the feedback in the future work? Now, whatever feedback you have got, okay, now I might have got the feedback 5 years back, 5 months back, right? But your most recent feedback is the one which you need to accommodate. That makes your paper up to date. Okay. Now, I may have different research opinion. You may have different research opinion. Every feedback cannot be incorporated. Understand this thing. You cannot have everything what others think in your paper, what they think, right? You cannot accommodate everything. You have to work on creating an effective balance that this is what can improve my paper. This will completely change it. Do not do it. Do not do it. Okay. And always keep a track of whatever changes you have done for future references. You need to know, okay, I changed my one objective, then I came back to another one, then I came back to another one. So you need to have a clear track of your revisions. Okay. This is the hardest time. This is the hardest time. You get a negative feedback. Do not mourn your feedback. Okay. Do not mourn your feedback. Even if they have rejected your feedback, even if they always give you what is lacking. Sometimes, and this is also something which is I'm telling you, I'm sharing you a real story which happened with me. I happen to be a peer reviewer for a couple of journals, okay, and I rejected one of the paper came for me for the peer review. Like I said, that we can have different research acumens, right? So I actually reviewed that paper and I gave some comments on the methodology section, stating that that does not align with the objective. Okay. Now, basically, I was at fault that time because instead of stating, I would have said it that it is not clearly discussed. That's what the mistake was in the paper, that the methodology was not clearly discussed. However, I found it that it is not aligned and I rejected the paper. So that author was given an opportunity to connect with the reviewer and to ask for the clarification, and that's what you can do it, right? If you have got a comment and your paper got rejected, you can ask for the clarification, and that's what happened with me. The author asked for the clarification from me that how it is not aligned. So my obvious mindset was not there, that is not discussed properly, that it does not showcase the kind of statistics needs to be done aligning with the objective, and I just gave my clarification. And the reward I got it that in a discussion where the author explained, that explanation does made sense. Then I realized, yes, now it's aligned. So I had to accept it because now my feedback was not wrong, but it was not properly given. I could have asked for more elaboration instead of stating completely it is rejected. So that's what also happened. If you think that the feedback given is not something which is right, or probably which is not aligned, you can ask for the clarification. But if that's not the case, do not keep holding your feedback and just crying for days and hours, because I know that I understand the pain of writing a good quality paper and then presenting it and then it's come back. So please, you need to improve it. You need to improve it further. Okay. Now, paper done, abstract done, conference attended, everything is done. What happened after the conference? Now, I would like to hear from you people. Do you actually get connected with the people you meet in conference? Let me pose this question. I think today, I'm asking a lot of questions. You can read the question in the chat box and revert me. My simple question is, how many of us actually reconnect with people met in conferences? Now, I'll tell you how I do it. Like I told you that please carry your visiting cards, or this is the biggest. Now, if you now some like I told you the scenario, many people say that we can take phone numbers. Now, what happen is, and you can send the WhatsApp or something like that. What happen is that visiting card gives you an opportunity to access through their emails, which is sometimes because hard nut to crack. You can, even if you get the number, you don't get their emails. An email is something which you can professionally share your, future things, right? So getting their access to the visiting card gives you an access to their email. So how I reconnect with them? A general any festival message, email, or any New Year email, because you met with them in the conference, definitely, right? In future, you and your institution is not planning any conference. So how do you reconnect with them again? You know, you can actually drop down an email to them appreciating their work in the conference, and sharing that how you and the person is on the same page of research, or you share the same research idea, same kind of work, all that. Okay, appreciating their work, you can actually do that also. You can drop down an email to them. This is how you also can show your interest to work with them, collaborating with them. Another way is that you can actually get in touch with each other through dropping in emails on any festival coming in, or a New Year, or any Easter, or like that, Christmas, anything, so that you are there in in their email box. I'm just telling you the ways to reconnect with them, because out of sight is out of mind. That's what I believe. So once that conference is over, okay, fine. They like their work, you like their work. How to establish that connect in a long-term association? If you really like somebody's work, if you really like somebody's publication or presentation, how can you get in touch with the person for future work? How to get that opportunity? How you need to make sure that the person invites you for any event which is being coordinated by them, or which is being organized by them, right? Appreciate their work. Drop down an email, just an email that, it was wonderful meeting with you, it was wonderful interacting with you. And apart from the emails I'm saying on the festivals, or the New Year's, or Christmas, or so like that, appreciate their work. Appreciate that meeting them was highly intellect. How do you like their work? How you and they are on the same page of research interest? Something like that. Okay, that is reconnecting with the contacts you made in the conference. Another thing comes it that please do not. Generally, what happens is you get the conference proceedings, you get the abstract submitted by all, and we generally don't pay attention to it. That's what happen, because that's what you get in your conference material. But going through these conference publication abstract published and given to you, that booklet tells you that you might not get the access to listen all the presentation all the year. Let's say it's a 3-day conference, and you just have to attend, you just happen to attend the one, you did not go for another one. So how you will come to know that, yes, who talked about on what? You read those proceedings, you might can find somebody who's on the same page of research like you. Okay, and then also evaluate lastly your conference experience, that was it worth going, how you will, you know how did you find it, and all that. So, like as okay, now I have given this in detail, that how you can reconnect with the new contacts. So also, how can I forget this? LinkedIn, I mean, LinkedIn or Twitter, whatsoever social media is, you know, after now engaging with engaging on social media platform, in my opinion, in my suggestion, should be after you drop an formal email to them, then it can be proceeded. Find a person on LinkedIn and then, get connected. So this should be done if you meet people at conferences and or if you attend conferences for networking purposes. This has to be maintained. Otherwise, if this is not done, networking purpose of conferences is utter waste. Okay. Then I told you about how you can review your notes, your materials. You can actually go for find out that how you can actually turn out those into strategies, or what valuable information you got from the event, something like that. Also, one very important thing I'll tell you, at these conferences, many a times you get a hint of the research areas on you can work on. Okay, you get an idea that my fellow researchers are engaged in this work, or this kind of research is happening in my field. So many a times you get an idea. I'm not saying by copying others' work, but I'm saying having an idea of what they are doing. Okay, so you get to understand the proceedings in your domain, what actually is happening. You get to know that. Okay, all right. Then comes your evaluation of the conference, your experience, that how you can get more improved in the future conference. Here I would like to give you a tip. You always get to learn from these conferences, goes without saying, right? But always analyze, always give a self check where I was lagging behind, what were the points where I was weak, how I can be more engaged. Nobody can know you better than yourself. Okay, so you need to see that what all areas I am lacking. You probably can go come up with a self check. You probably can come up with that also, right? So you can do a self check for yourself, that what all the areas I need attention. Okay, I would like to ask all of you that what are the areas where do you find yourself lacking when it comes to when it comes to attending a conference? I have written down a question for all of you. Areas requiring attention regarding attending a conference. I want these questions to you. I need an answer, guys. There must be some areas where you think that you requires attention, or probably some kind of homework needs to be done. Probably you can keep typing your answers in the chat box. Okay, now coming up to the conference proceedings. What exactly conference proceeding? Ma'am told us that, go ahead with the conference proceedings, read out that. What exactly are those? First, let me tell you those. Now, conference proceedings are basically nothing but what all abstracts and the papers which are being presented at the conference, it's a collection of that. What all has happened in the conferences, it's a collection of that. Okay, so now in this, they often give you, a hint of their preliminary research findings. Not the entire show is being released, right? Trailer is given in the proceedings. The entire one is published in the journal after time. Okay, now, one, like I asked the question, areas which require the attention regarding a conference proceeding. Shalini has said presentation, panel discussion, comments on paper, and poster presentation. What I can understand, Shalini, here is that while answering the questions, you need attention. Yes, this is one of the major and the common area where majority of us needs, improvement. Now, I'll tell you some of the the tips, tried and tested tips, which I'll tell you, which you can follow. Right? See, couple of questions we should um, assume beforehand we go for presentation. This idea you will get how when we attend the presentations. It's not always that we go for presentation presenting our paper. No, we can go to just being an audience also. That gives you an idea what exactly happened in the conferences. First thing that you have already done. Second, like I told you before, that assume some questions that, this question can be asked, this question can be asked, this question can be asked. How will you get to know it? From your peer and colleague, those who have already presented. Like, for example, general questions, which panel discussions ask you on methodology. Exactly. Methodology is one such section which, no matter what, we should be prepared thoroughly that any questions within that frame coming to us is easier for us. It's something which is cherry on the cake and we'll answer it like if, right? So, methodology. Then you may talk about the significance. Generally, panel members, they do ask that, how your discussion is relevant. So do not tell them what has already been written on the slides. That's what they have asked the question for. They don't want to hear back what you have already written on the slides. Methodology and significance is something, significance, relevance, something like that. You may find the different words from them, is something which they may ask from to hear from you. When it comes to methodology, so relevance of the statistical analysis used, explanation of the findings shown to them, why this test, why not the other test, these questions. Why this particular tool of data collection? Like, as much as you have presented on your slides. Okay. Then I think you can handle this section also. Coming back to talking about conference proceedings. So conference proceeding basically are the abstracts or the paper which are presented in the conference. That's what is. That is also being given in the form of a booklet once the conference is started. Many they give at the starting of the conferences, many they give you after the conferences, or many they give you during the conference at any time. Like, it completely depends upon the organizers. Okay. Complete research is not being published in that. Okay. Now you have to understand that whether I'm submitting to a conference proceedings or my paper will, be submitted after the proceedings also. That also I'll talk about, that what are the advantages and disadvantages of publishing in proceedings, and what are the roles. Basically, the roles of conference proceeding is to tell the audiences that this is the entire scope of our conferences. This is what all is being will be covered, or it has been covered in the conferences so far. Okay. So when we talk about the conferences proceedings role, so basically the publication process, whatever is for the conference proceeding, is normally shorter than the journal. Okay. So a journal takes longer time than the conference proceeding. And one very important, I'm giving you a tip here, quick tip for all the fellow researchers. And according to this, also, I have discussed into my previous webinars, that is, whenever you are stuck in the middle of nowhere, that I am not getting an idea on what I should write on, conference proceeding is something to rely on. Okay, conference proceeding is something because conferences happen on the latest trends. Whatever is happening in the particular field, the themes are designed on what all is happening in the latest terms. So these conference proceeding actually plays a very important role on carving a niche for you. Now, when I say niche for you, I say that on helping you to identify what exactly you can write upon. Conference proceedings are helpful in that aspect. Okay. Then, the information which is disseminated through conference proceeding is often not reported anywhere else, or at least not the same. So, it is not published anywhere. So, it is something which is completely for the first time. Okay. So, that is also now adhering to specific formatting and content requirements for proceeding. Now, this is something which is that's why. Now, if you can go back to when I was telling you that follow the submission guidelines, because when your work is submitting in the conference proceeding, all the work submitted are following same guideline. That's how it becomes mandatory for all the abstracts, all the authors to follow the same structural guidelines and alignments. Now I think you got the purpose. Then you say that, why my abstract was rejected and why it was sent, because you will not follow the structural guidelines, dude. Eventually it will be published in the proceedings and it all should look like same, right? So that is the reason. Then it also important to staying ahead or staying on top of the deadlines, like I told you, because these abstracts or these proceedings needs to be published. If you are getting late, the entire proceedings are getting late to get published. This is why it is important. Okay, so, and lastly but not the least, please get in touch, please remain in touch with the conference editors or the organizers, whatever delay is there, if there is any. If not, how far your publication has been taken place, how far your proceeding publication is in process, everything, it's your right to know it. Okay. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages of publishing in proceedings? Now, benefits of conference to journal paper submission is something which is I have categorized into three parts. Like, benefit to authors are that you get a little quick, r- relatively very quick feedback than journal. Okay. Or you get multiple points of early feedback. You get during the presentation also, you get from the proceedings also, you get peer reviews also, you get. So it's a very it's a very less time consuming process than when it comes to publishing in the conference than the journals. It is the benefit to the author. Your time cycle reduces. Coming to the conferences, what is the benefits to conferences is you get to know what all is happening in the research fraternity. Okay. So global scenario is there, because generally right now what is happening around the world, what I can witness is all the global international conferences are happening. Okay. So you basically, we do not or we get to know what's happening in the different parts of the world when it comes to the domain or the field. Now, what is the benefit to the journals is because throughout your conference, your paper was scrutinized, your abstract was scrutinized, it was peer reviewed. So, journals get the best of the material. Journal get the structured, aligned papers, which is because conference aligned with the scope of the journals. So, journals homework is relatively reduced. And one suggestion here I would like to give you that Whenever, like I said earlier also, when we started with this webinar, when you decide and finalize any conference, please look very carefully in the journals, their impact factor, their indexing, what the conference is going to publish in. One catch here is, generally conferences say that not all the papers will be published. You saw that one, there is XYZ conference is there. In that one, ABC journal is there, which is highly indexed, good impact factor, and the papers will be published. Now, you being an author, overlooked one simple line, not all the papers will be published. Selected best papers will be published. Now, here your attention should be in this line, that selected best papers will be published. What is the criteria for that? You're working on a paper, you are aiming for that journal through that conference. What is the criteria for it? Please get to know for that also, so that you can prepare your manuscript accordingly, so that you can have that well in advance known to you that this is something which I need to work on. Okay. Then further advantages and disadvantages I have given to you. You get multiple views, you get multiple ideas and solution. Disadvantages is that sometimes group decision making. One people think that it is right, one other feel that not. It can take time. Like I told you also that different people have different research acumen. Your paper discussion get into the trap of irrelevant discussion at times, and it gets nowhere. Plus, not to forget it, conferences registration is time consuming plus expensive also. Sometimes it's easy to say that and attend international conferences, or be a part of global audience, but it's very it has to be very acceptable also, that it getting very very expensive also. It is very very expensive. Okay. So just this is one of the downside which I personally feel is. Okay. Now comes that how you can actually make sure that your presentation, your research get the maximum impact. Okay. Firstly, you need to work on your presentation so that that impact created. After the conference, you need to make sure also, because once conference is done, your work is not done. Your work start after that. Okay. Also, if you want your research to be known by the people, and if your conference presentation was a success, it was a hit, do not let it get wasted. Build further success on that. Okay. So get connected with the people, let them you are interested in working with you, and all that. Okay. Now, how you can actually optimize your presentation for impact? Just focus on the main points. Do not talk everything under the universe. We as an audience are not interested. Okay. Talk on the main points. Data visualization tool. Now, data visualization tool is pie charts, graph, histograms, whatever you can insert, just do that. Make it more visually appealing. Make your presentation whenever is possible as a visual treat for for your audience. Okay. Just do not fill it with a lot of content and make it like a book, and don't start reading it. That they can do it afterwards also. Okay. Plus, make sure that, let's say if I'm delivering a management presentation to a engineering student or engineering audience, does not make sense to them, or vice versa, does not make sense to them, right? So identifying right conference actually helps here, that you'll get the right kind of audience. Okay. So it's very important that you hit the right chord. Then it's important to, your homework is not done here. you need to show your work. Yeah, I mean, you need to boost up what you have done, you need to show it. So just talk about, make use of social media. It's not bad to showcase that you you participated in a conference, or you presented in this conference, so that a lot of people get to know you. Okay, post your slides also to social media or online, and also follow up with the people, like I said, who attended your work and they liked your work. Just give them an opportunity to know that yes, you are interested in working with them, or probably sharing your work with them, or something like that. All right. I think on LinkedIn, you should, I mean, those who are interested also, those who want to promote their work, they should just a just a post would do that, glad to be a part of such intellect conference, or glad to be a part of such, and got an opportunity to present my paper on this theme, or so, like that. Just do it. Okay, people are doing it now. Once your conference is a success, then make it more collaborative and make it more comprehensive for the journal submission. And whatever discussion you had, make a memo of that, like make a short, or whatever discussions you take it like a minute of meeting, and then just let people know that you are open to collaborate with them in the future also. Okay, now I have actually given a link for all of you. So where I have actually showcased that, I have seen actually a very handpicked presentation, or it's a YouTube link which I have given for you, where you can actually find out that how a successful conference talks look like. So I have given this YouTube link for all of you, um, which actually looks like this. Here I have given the link to you in the slides also. So when you access the slides, you get this link also. So this is for your ready reference, that you can keep it with you, because talking in the presentation, that you might not go back to the slides anytime, but if this link with you, you can, videos are always engaging, right? So you can get back to this whenever at your free time, or whenever you feel like I need to just be a part of it. Okay, now certain common pitfalls to be avoided in the conference, this is something which I really wanted to talk to you. Overload, not overleading, not engaging, and ignoring the time limit is something which these pitfalls falls into the category of. Let's start one by one. Do not start with PowerPoint, leave creating visual aids until the end of the process. Just make use of these visual aids as much as you can. See, let me tell you, you are presenting to human brains. They are not just hearing your presentation. They have been hearing it throughout the day, or probably, they have started with you, or probably they have the whole day. So you are there to create an impression in their mind. How that impression will be created with, okay, fine, I saw that presentation that has that pictograph, that has that visual aid, that was amazing. He showed it very grammatically, and that concepts get reinforced in their mind. Okay, so just don't start talking. I mean, don't sign, oh, this topic will be this. Okay, title side is there, then be dramatic, make use of visual aids, being in the professional limits. Okay, being in the professional limits. Then comes, don't start writing before planning, have a clear plan first. Yes, prepare a script, like I said. Prepare your script. What is to be there in the presentation also, what is to be there in the delivery also. I suggest prepare a script for both of them. Then comes, don't be the center of attention, make your audience talk. Exactly. I know it's about you when you are presenting, but if your audience is not engaged, with you during your presentation. It is as good as you're talking to walls. You don't want that to be happen, right? So try to be engaged with them. Now, that can be done. How that can be done? You are presenting. How that can be done? How why they will talk when you are presenting? Just ask them questions. They might not answer. They 90% they don't answer, right? But firstly, it will help you two ways. Firstly, you establish a connect with them. Okay. Second, you get a breather space. Now, if you see, I typed 2 3 questions within the chat today, right? I did not get many replies. Let me tell you very honestly, I did not get many replies, but this is the way I'm trying to establish a connect with an audience which is virtual and I can't see them, right? So always make sure that you want your audience to be a part of this presentation, irrespective they want or they don't want. It also gives you a breather during the presentation. Okay, because we are in a nervousness, we are anxious, we don't know what is going to happen in the question and answer, we are more nervous. So that eases down. Okay, that ease you down on that part. Then don't use written language. Translate everything you write in a compelling spoken language. Like I said, prepare the script, strong one. Okay, just strong one. Don't try and say too much, but say less and say it better. Exactly. Elaborating too much, not making any sense. It's all crap. Your discussion has to be very focused. Repeating same thing again and again. Or even if you're repeating, you try to connect it with different part of the presentation that will help you to keep your presentation in time also. Don't lead with slides or narrate slides. Don't read them. I just did, right? You use visual aids that will help your audience to connect, and you do not need to read it. Let them do their job. Let them do their job, right? They are there to hear you. You're presenting a visual aid. Just have a look at that, right? So that will help your audience to be a part of your presentation. Plus, don't avoid practicing. I mean, just don't think that, okay, I wrote this paper, I'm very confident, I will just make 100% of it. Make sure that you do a bathroom practice before going to the presentation. When I say bathroom practice, please place yourself in the front of a mirror and practice it. This is what I'm going to do with it. So for that, you need that script, which I'm just blabbering about in the whole presentation. That will also help you to how much time to need that will also help you to know how much time you are taking for the presentation. Okay, this is very important, because eventually what will happen, if the presentation is supposed to be 12 to 13 minutes, you are taking 20 minutes, the speaker will tell you or the session chair will tell you your time is over. So what happens is your main points are there to be discussed in the last 5 minutes, which you have not reached. You have to be speed up your presentations, surrender then and there. So practicing beforehand makes your presentation a powerful tool to be in front of the session chair. Okay. All right. So that was it from my side for today. Otherwise, you will also say that how long we can hear the things which ma'am are telling us to practice. She will not. She's not practicing herself. So now we are open for the question and answers. So Shalini, I have answered your how you can actually handle the questions. Now I would like to hear the questions from you. Guys, we are open for the questions, please. Mm-hmm. Guys, can I have the questions, please? Okay. Okay, Mona. Well, no, Mona, see, generally what happened is that we should aim, the time given for your presentation is generally 12 to 15 minutes. Okay. During that, you should aim for 8 to 10 slides, not more than that at any cost. At any point, do not go ahead than 10, 8 to 10 slides. How to prepare presentation for 10 minutes? I mean, I'm saying you get 12 15 minutes, Shalini. I tell you, prepare your script, make the main points in the presentation. I have given you what to in that, and then you need to prepare it beforehand. Okay, ma'am, can you please tell me what is the most important thing I need to remember if I'm attending a conference for the first time? I'm a second year master. Okay, fine. Amreen, if you're presenting, I told you the entire thing, what you need to do. If you're attending the conference, so then always make sure that you network with people. You take your details, you take their details with you once you are back. If you are presenting, then your presentation has to be, spick and span, like. And I told you that since you are a second year master student, you may not be carrying any um visiting card with you. You may not be having any. It's okay, but make sure that you take the details of the people with whom you want to be connected with in future. Okay, Fatima, how do we select the conference? Yes, Fatima, we started this discussion right from that point only, that how do we find the conference, and that is why, firstly, your university also participates, your departments also participate in the conferences. Identify them, talk to your supervisors, peers, fellow colleagues. You can register yourself to conferencealerts.com. Exact, I'm giving you the example. And look for the top notch institutions of your field. They organize these kind of conferences regularly. Just be attended from that. Okay, you may find what to attend it. How Yes, Piyush, for that you need to um ask our team that what is the help they can get you. Then definitely they can help you with the way to complete your thesis. Definitely. Okay, don't worry, they will help you out completely in all the ways which you want. How much literature review must be presented in research paper at okay, Vani. Research paper uh, is something which is more for the research side. So in that, your literature review should not be, let's say if your paper is of, let's say, 8 to 10 pages, your literature review can be of 2 pages at max. I'm just giving an example. Okay, what is the ideal number of Fatima? I told you like 8 to 10 slides. How to know about conferences, or if I suggest any link or group? I have told you that conference alerts is one of the example. After marketing, you get into, you identify institutions like IMT and with Pilani. So they organize various conferences, right? Mm, thank you, everyone. What will be the impact factor of research paper to publish? Spelling is wrong, Vani. What will be the impact factor of research paper to publish journals? See, impact factor we find for, first we look for the impact factor of journal, and then search for the right kind of journal with you. So impact factor is basically number of citations has been done by the journal's article. So this is what we had delivered last week for the same thing. Depends upon the your research interest. Okay, it's a blessed farm from checking pleasure. Piyush, I mean, there are a lot of softwares which are available, and the team can help you with that also. I would appreciate that if we can ask the relevant questions. Okay. Okay. All right. Ma'am, can you help for the file patent or making device? Uh, Filing patent can be done like online if it's if it's, you need to say that if it's a patent from India or outside. So if it's India, there's a different procedure. If it's outside, there's a different procedure. If it can be found out online. Yes, for India, there is a proper, you need to file up the application, and then you come up with the documentation, and then when you receive, you need to submit your work, and then you receive the further notification. Can you suggest some coming up conferences? Fatima, see, depends upon that, like I told you, that depends upon your or interest area, right? There are a lot many happening around the world actually. Thank you, Vani. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Fatima. For example, like I told you, Fatima, I just recently got off from School of Management, from one of the institution, very good one based in India, and they have the online one as well. So there are a lot many happening. Yes, Josiah, briefly, can you help me to know the main things more needed for researchers and contrast proceedings? Uh, Make sure that you identify the abstracts submitted within your session because they are exactly related to your theme. You connect with the authors. Okay. Plus, what is the impact factor of the journals where the incomplete paper will be published? Or is there any impact factor of the complete conference proceedings as well? And you get a copy of that. Make sure of these things. What else is required to be a good oral presentation? Vaishali, see, when it comes to good oral presentation, make sure this thing in mind that you are there to connect with the human mind, right? That's what I always believe in, that anything which is delivered to them like plain, just reading, not being connected, they'll go above their heads. So you need to connect with them, and more than words, what I believe is pictorial diagrams, pictures, visual aids, they connect, they get the engagement mostly. Not only in presentation in the conferences, I always make sure to deliver this same thing in my classes also. So it is not like the content, theoretical content, but it's more like visual content. It should be like a visual treat. Then make use of these gestures, hands, movements, make use of stage space. That is all given to you, right? Just do not stand at one place. Connect also happen because when you are moving on the stage, the audience's eyeballs are moving with you. That means they are following you, right? Your hand movements, asking them questions, even if they're not asking, you're gauging at their attention. All right, that thing. Yes, Shalini, then there is a process. Probably, you can check in on the websites in because uh, you have different areas also where you file the patents that follows different procedures. Ma'am, how to answer a question which we know a little less about? For example, absolutely very good question. If session chair would ask something to relate to current set with the topic, see, Pooja, my suggestion here always, not only to Pooja, all of you. Let's say if you stuck to a question where you either don't know the question or you just know very limited amount of it. Okay. Let's take first stance that you don't know about it. Do not bluff around. Do not say vague things. Session chair get to know it. Okay. If you know very limited amount it, then say till that time point and very formally say that, pardon me, I think my knowledge would be limited to this thing. And if even if you don't know, then ask them. It would be really appreciated that if you can help me with the answering the same question. It would enhance my knowledge base. But do not say false things. Okay. Thank you, Ashwini. Thank you, Shalini. Thank you, Sona. Thank you. Uh, yes, Rinku, we'll be organizing, like you said. Definitely we can, and we can help you with the same by organizing the webinars on the same theme. Okay. As a finance scholar, how to make the most use of graphs? Oh, finance, you can play around with it. Yeah, data visualization tool, definitely. And you not only then play around with numbers, if not more of graphs or tools. Play around with pie charts. It helps you a lot. Or numbers, statistical. See, words, number have to be a perfect, beautiful combination of both. Numbers, you definitely just make sure of, like, show them with arrows, or high, low, show them with trending lines. You can do that. For every like Ashwini, like definition, there's a process for like patent, there's a process for copyright also. You need to check that. Thank you, Hetal. How to start writing a research? Because I'm starting it from very basic writing language. If your research paper is qualitative in nature, I mean, you start with introduction and go for your literature review. Okay, and then there is if your the research paper, because it starts with your literature review, it starts with your introduction. You need to have a proper understanding about your literature. All that needs to be done. Thank you, Fatima. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can you please list platform that gives information about on see Srinivas, that'll honestly speaking, I would be having very limited or no knowledge about each of the conferences. Like you said, you are from English, somebody is from math, somebody is from botany, somebody is from zoology, right? I would not be the right person to ask that which conference is coming in English, because I'm not from the same field. I can suggest you, like, the ways you can find it, right? You can check, like, for the different department of different universities, department of English, they organize the conferences. Websites like conference alerts, you can register your interest that I'm interested in English conferences, upcoming English conferences. So this is the way you can actually get to know the conferences in your area. Thank you, Desire. Thank you so much. Thank you so. Yes, Vishali. Actually, I have listed that link. I have given that link, which is there in my PPTs, and you'll get to have those PPTs later after this webinar, and that link is there. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Binu. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. It was really, really nice interacting with you. And on your suggested topics, we'll definitely come across that what all webinars we can conduct in future. So that will be definitely taken care of. Thank you, Seema. Thank you so much. If anybody is having any further questions also, please, feel free to ask at this platform. This is all for you. Thank you, Kirti. Thank you so much. Piyush, my PhD is in management, particularly in HR, and it is quite long back. I know it's been years. My PhD is in management. Thank you, Rinku. Thank you, Civil Being. Thank you so much. If anybody is, if you having still any apart from this, if you are in a research paper, like Piyush asked me about research paper, if you have any questions related to synopsis or review paper, you may feel free to write that as well. It's not a problem. It's okay. Um, okay, Mabel. See, when you talk about writing literature review, right? So you're talking about writing it. That means you have done the literature review. You're done with it, right? So writing literature review always starts with introducing your topic. What are you going to talk about? And then you move on to the concepts, definitions, the models. Now, my suggestion on writing literature review to all the students is always like that: you divide your literature review in introduction, main body, and conclusion, because your literature review is something which gives highlighting to your gaps also, right? So that has to be supported properly by all the theory, all the models, all the definitions which you have found out from the literature. And do not just got copy paste. You just uh, you know need to rephrase and connect it with your topic. So introduction, main body, and conclusion. Divide your literature like that. And in main body, talk about the main literature. Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. This is my first session to attend, and your platform provides us much guidance in our original. No, thank you, Piyush. But however, PhD supervisors are always there to help us. I'm also one of them, so don't entire blame the entire PhD supervisor fraternity. Um, because see, they have a lot of other works to do as well. So it's your job also to make them, make yourself available for whenever they ask you for the work to be done on your PhD projects. All these needs to be done timely also, right? Because students lack at this point. If someone needs your help as a part of as if someone needs your help a part in this session of confident training, how can I be good? I'm doing PhD in management, so can you help me with a lot? Oh, yes, Desire. The number which I shared in the starting of the webinar, you can get in touch with the team and we can be connected. Sure, we can be connected for the same. If any kind of training needs to be delivered, or for your for PhD also, you can get connected with the team and like with us with the given number. That won't be a problem. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Fatima. I mean, if you don't have any questions, surely. And thanks for being so sweet to ask for that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. If anybody has any questions further, please feel free to connect. Oh, Pooja. See, I finished. I finished in exactly 4 years. People take. I have seen people finishing it in 3.5 years as well, and as I have seen people taking 7 years as well. So, ideal number is you should be able to finish in 4.5 years. Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. And see, these PhD years are very much dependent on your supervisor, on your data collection, on the field you come from. Because at times, data collection takes a lot of time. Because if I talk about myself, it took me 6 to 8 months to collect my data. So data collection is something which is tedious at times. But ideally, you should be able to finish it in 4.5 years. I'm talking about finish and then submitting, because prior to submission also you need 3 months to finalize, print out, blah blah blah, blah whatnot. Great. I wish you all the best, Pooja, that you are about to submit. I'm happy to hear that. Yes, Amreen, you can connect with me with the numbers I given to you when I started the webinar. No, 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 Pooja, you're very much in time. If you know that I'm around about to finish it, you are well in time. Don't worry about that. Let the world take 2 years. It's okay. Because see, um, during the time I can understand the frustration happens to us, but the last leg of PhD submission is more frustrating. When you are done with the work, you're more into admin work, submitting documents, taking the printout, finalizing it, the alignment and everything. That is more frustrating, but be patient in that time also. Any question anybody is having? If not, you guys can go ahead and enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend. Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Exactly, Pooja. And you will soon realize once you finish with the PhD and you become an academician, there's a lot to learn after that also. Because after a couple of years, you will realize, oh, my PhD is outdated. Okay, I did not this. I could have done this I could have done this in a better way, right? So you, I think being into education, you this feeling is always there, is always there. Lot to learn. I'm Net GRF scholar. I have questions. Yes, please, Piyush. I was also fortunately a Net GRF scholar. Need about experiences smart PLS. Yes, you can get in touch with the team, Muna. For surely you'll be assisted with the same. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Pooja. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's good to interact with people like you, for sure. Do we need to upload our PhD thesis on in Flipnet once we submit our thesis to university? Uploading in mandatory. That you need to ask for your university. Yes, you need to confirm from university. For example, I was also an HCR scholar. For us, it was, I mean, I don't know how many of you know it. It was asked to mandate to really upload it on Shodh Ganga. So you need to ask for your university this thing. Yep. Get in touch with your librarian. This that he is the right person to ask for you. Ask this question if it's mandatory or not for you. Thank you, Vishali. Thank you, Mona. Thank you so much. All of you have a wonderful weekend ahead and have a wonderful day also. Thank you. Thank you, Vishali. My pleasure that I could help you all. Whatever knowledge I have, even if it's added little bit to your learning capacity, I'm sorted. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And now we can enjoy our weekend, whatever day is left with you. Honestly speaking, is already, night because Melbourne is like 4.5 hours ahead than India. So we are already have started with our evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Swapna. Thank you, Piyush. Thank you. Need how to do a pilot study research paper. Uh, Need to know how to do a pilot study for a research paper. So for that, you can go ahead with the distributing a sample, a set of questionnaire to the sample respondents. You can do that. Definitely, Piyush. It will be coordinated. It will be coordinated. Or great to know, Vishali. Great to know pharmacology diabetes. See, that is how we connect. That is how we connect through these platforms. Also, through research graduate is also providing you a platform where you can get to know. I always say that write about your research interest so that you find or you get connected with people of your same field. Thank you, God. Thank you, Silatagui. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, guys. Have a great weekend ahead, and it was lovely interacting with all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.